Hello, I am Lily Mae and welcome to Glambitious Talk. Okay, if this is your first time tuning in, make sure you visit theglamceo.com to check out all of the opportunities we have for women entrepreneurs to get more visibility, as well as the Atlanta conference is coming up on August 26th. I'm so excited to be here with Miss Kyerra. Kyerra, introduce yourself to everybody.
I'm Kyerra. I am also on Instagram as Key the Assistant. I am a personal virtual celebrity assistant and author.
Yes. So when God was making Kyerra, what ingredients did he put in the pot?
Oh, God took care of me. He put a lot of ingredients in there. For sure, he put my smile. Mm-hmm. I love having a good time, laughter, responsibility. He put some loyalty in there. I'm a Cancer, so we're real loyal. Mm-hmm, sometimes we're too loyal. We're sensitive, but in a good way. Yes. We don't know how to go in between. It's either 0 or 100. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So hard work, dedication, family, friends. He put a whole lot of stuff.
Okay, pot was bubbling over. Yeah. So speaking of hard work, tell us about the work that you do and how your efforts have helped women move forward.
Awesome. So I am a native of Atlanta. A lot of people, you don't get that too often, but I am born and raised right here in Atlanta. And so I grew up in a family of entrepreneurs and my educators. So my grandmother and my mom, all of them were educators. Then my dad's side was business. And I was in this world like, okay, what is Kyerra going to do? Mm-hmm. And so I went to school in California. I wanted to get away from Atlanta to learn diversity because growing up in Atlanta, it's either black or white. There's no in between. Mm-hmm. And so I didn't know how to code switch. I was used to just talking to people who looked like me.
Right.
So I went to school in California and I graduated with a degree in theater and communications with an emphasis in public relations. Okay. However, I didn't like PR. Hated it. So I ended up, I moved back home because while I was in college, I did radio. I was promotions assistant. Okay. And so I got into the assistant type of field. And then I moved back home, couldn't find a job, super depressed because, I went from living my best life, doing my own thing, to living with my mama. Like, we got to figure this out and get it. Go ahead and see the house. And so I interned at the Atlanta Voice. Okay. Right here in Atlanta. And so I worked under Jay Nash. And she love Jay Nash. Yes. Jay Nash is my mentor. She was actually the person who bought my LLC. Without her, I would not have the business Pearls and Cups assisting today.
And you know what? So I like to have a segment in the show called Give Her Flowers. And we tell, everyone about a person who helped us. So we kind of got ahead to that. Yes. We're going to give Jay Nash her virtual flowers, okay? She has been such a great person and person to know in this industry. For me, as a publicist, she's interviewed my clients in the past. And now there's another connection to Miss Jay Nash. So we're giving her flowers today.
I love Jay Nash so much. She's moved and not in Atlanta as much. But every time she come home, I'm like, I gotta see you. She's still my mentor. And one thing I love about Jay is she's always herself. Ain't she don't care where she at. She's gonna get Jay. Yes. And so she actually taught me that assisting is a career option. I didn't even think that was a thing. Like you don't hear people say, "Oh yeah, I'm an assistant." Right. And if you do, it's like corporate. So she showed me the whole ropes to the other side of that. So started assisting, been assisting since 2017, and then last year I wrote a book under Audrey Ori, who is.
I love Audrey. Listen, okay, connections. I love Audrey.
Yes. Wow. Audrey Ori was my client.
Okay.
And so she used to always say, Kyerra, you got to write a book because people don't understand your story. Like people don't understand the ins and outs of really what you do. Right. And so I went through the whole ordeal of writing a book and under 13th and Joan. And it's called the Assistance Playbook.
Wow, I love it. And I think it's so important because there's so many different career paths that people can take. They need to hear from a person like you because it takes a special skill set to be an assistant. Definitely. You have to have attention to detail. You have to have patience.
Communication, organization. Yes. And so the Assistance Playbook is actually how I wanted to help women. It is a playbook to help women, especially college students, stay-at-home moms, anybody who want to be a virtual assistant, they can start today.
Right.
Like, we don't, long as you have the minimal things, which is a laptop, a cell phone, there's apps that you can start and working, and long as you just have certain skills of how to talk to people, how to respond to emails, how to write proper emails, and those small things that we learned working in regular corporate America, you can be an assistant, especially a virtual assistant.
I love that you're helping people explore like their options as far as what careers to take, especially out of college, because I know when I came out of college, I was a waitress for a whole year with a degree, and I was a waitress because, you know, it was like, it felt limited as far as what to do, and there's so many options. I'm glad that you've written a book to help people explore one of the options they can pursue if they have the skill set.
Yes, and if you don't want to be an assistant, you still can get the book because it helps entrepreneurs to, like, I literally have a template of how to write a contract. I have the template for an NDA, non-disclosure agreement, for people who don't know that. And so all those things are in there. So it's actually, if you're anybody who wants to start a business, all those things, that's the beginning of the book. And then the end of the book, there's note sheets, you can take notes. And so upcoming, I'm working on now is getting the classes started.
Yes, classes. And like you said, there's so many fundamentals that entrepreneurs need, like contracts and agreements, because there's a side to entrepreneurship that's not so fun. And that includes all of that work, like knowing how to put a contract together, getting people to sign things, protecting your brand, protecting your logo, all of these things. So I'm glad that your book caters to entrepreneurs, period, that can kind of, you know, help them get started and have the foundations covered.
Yes, it goes over the foundations, the minimums that you know you need, the cost of the LLC, how to get your domain, all those things from start to finish. At least how you get your website up is in the book.
I love it. So I do like to play a quick game of this or that. Everybody that knows me knows I love game nights, right? So we're going to say this or that. You pick one and then tell us why you picked it, right?
This is going to be fun.
Yeah, this is like the business edition of this or that, okay?
All right.
Airbnb or Turo?
Airbnb.
And why?
Because I feel like you can have multiple properties and it's probably maybe a little easier to manage than Turo. And me personally, I don't trust people in accidents. I feel like you're more accident prone in a car than you are in an Airbnb.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Okay. Michael B. Jordan or Idris Elba?
Michael B. Jordan. He's more of my age range. We're gonna
like, I don't need a zaddy, okay?
No, okay.
And
he's married. We're gonna stay on the single
That's
side.
true. That's true. That's true. I know. We have to take Idris out of the this or that. I don't know who to replace him with. Who could we replace Idris Elba with at this point? That's gonna be hard. That's gonna be hard. So Michael B. Jordan might just be in the category all of his own. So
I like it.
Leave him there by himself. Okay. And then investment wise, if you have $10,000 to invest, would you invest in Bitcoin or gold?
Bitcoin.
Okay. And why?
Because it's advancing. That's the way I think currency is about to go to versus gold. I mean,
absolutely,
that's been around forever.
Okay. And so I know that, you know, speaking of, you know, things advancing, a lot of times in entrepreneurship, we can get to a place where things are not advancing, right? Where you might feel a little stuck, you know, business is slow, or clients are not signing up, you know, for the services, or books are not selling. How do you stay motivated when times are uncertain?
Oh, that is such a good question. For me, praying. Praying. I'm a firm believer in you pray about it, you talk to God, you have faith, and you leave it alone.
Okay.
Because faith and fear don't mix. So when you are scared about it or you keep talking about it, it's like God, like, okay, do you not trust me? I got you this far. He ain't never failed me yet, so we're just gonna keep praying, and then a good little nap. For real. Like, I have to just close my eyes, say, you know what, I'm a little stressed right now. I'm gonna take a good nap, I'm gonna wake up, I'm gonna be refreshed, and then I can continue with, I can go back to problem solving or trying to figure out what's next.
Yeah, no, I think that's actually a great idea to step away from the problem, because sometimes when we are ambitious, we are problem solvers, and we'll just, you know, beat the dead horse instead of, like you're saying, praying, releasing it to God, taking a nap, or stepping away from it in some way to just give it some air, give it some space, and then revisiting it when you're like filled up. So I absolutely love that. Yes. And before we let you go, tell everyone what's next for you and how they can connect with you online, purchase your book, etc.
Okay, so you can follow me on all social media platforms, Key the Assistant, and that's Kee the Assistant. You can purchase the book on my website at www.prosandcuffs.com, on Amazon, Books A Million, and Barnes & Nobles. But if you want a signature, you're going to have to get it from my website. And stay tuned because, like I said, those classes will be coming up. And hopefully we might do a little workshop.
Yes. And hopefully we see you in Atlanta on August 26th at the Glambitious conference. Again, if this was your first time tuning in, make sure that you subscribe. Make sure that you visit theglamceo.com to learn about all of the opportunities we have for women business owners. And then, of course, you can follow me on Instagram at I am Lily Mae. So that concludes this episode of Glambitious Talk.